Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Let us start the session with a nice quote. What is today's quote? Work hard in silence, let success make the noise. Work hard in silence, let the success make the noise. A very useful quote. And today's editorial is all about interstate disputes, an important editorial, not only from the language point of view, but also looking at India being a quasi-federal state. It is important. Besides the editorial analysis, today you're going to work on errors, para-jumble, fillers, idioms, as usual, editorial vocabulary. Is the video on? Please answer the question. Yes. Now let us go to the editorial vocabulary. Not too many words. First one, discord, an important word. Part of speech, noun. What does it mean? Disagreement between people. Also, a problem between two persons or two states, or a dispute between two persons or two states or two organizations. When you look at this word, you have to recollect, thank you, you have to recollect two idioms. One, bone of contention, the other, apple of discord. Apple of discord, bone of contention, both mean the same. Cause of dispute. Discord means dispute, an important word. And those two idioms are very important. One is a bone of contention, the other one, apple of discord. Persist, we have got many a time. Part of speech verb, continue to exist or be prolonged. Counterpart also we have got many a time. He is my counterpart or she is my counterpart. Part of speech noun. A person or thing that corresponds to or has the same function as another person or thing in a different place or situation. There is a manager in India for a particular company and a manager in the US for the same company. Then we refer to those two people as counterparts. Resolve, part of speech verb, settle or find a solution to a problem. Naughty, not you all know. Naughty problem means what? Extremely difficult or complex. Here you can remember a very complex problem. Template usually goes with a design language when it comes to desktop publishing, when it comes to digital designing, we use the word template. But here it has got a different connotation. What does it mean, template? Something used as pattern or example. The template means the ground, the base can be used as an example or as a pattern. Underscore we have got many a time to emphasize the importance of something. Generally, when it comes to desktop publishing, underscore to underline a particular word, but in this context, it means to emphasize the importance of something. Fester, it's a new word of a negative feeling or a problem become worse or more intense, especially through long term neglect or indifference. When you neglect a particular problem or a particular negative feeling, and because of that it becomes worse, bad to worse, then we use the word fester. Delineation, an important word, the action of describing or portraying something precisely. You try to describe or portray something precisely, then we use the word delineation. Delineation is different, and you can also use the word highlight. Yes, delineation is different, and there's another word, alienation. Alienation means to get separated from the mainstream. Imperative, this is a grammar term, but here it has a different connotation. Imperative means part of speech noun of vital importance or crucial. It can be an adjective as well. Deploy, we have got many a time. Part of speech verb, it's a regular verb. Move troops or equipment into position for military action. Place in position the police or the army. Whenever there is a problem in a particular place, then we use the word deployed. The police have been deployed. Savor usually goes with food. Taste and enjoy it to the full. Good food or drink. But in this context, to enjoy a particular development. Demarcation, this goes with boundaries, the action of fixing the boundary or limits of something. Enshrine is an important word, part of speech verb. It's a regular verb. Preserve in a form that ensures it will be protected and respected. Enshrine a particular right, a tradition, an idea, so that it is preserved and protected and will be respected. Not too many words, as I said. Now let us go to the editorial. This editorial is important because it is all about interstate disputes, especially to be specific, northeastern states, northeast region, step by step. It means what? In a systematic way. And what is the main idea of this editorial? The agreement to resolve 6 disputed points along the Assam Meghalaya border is a model for others. Here, whatever you see underlined, try to tell yourself it could be a phrase, it could be a clause, or it is something added, used to add more information. Here, they could have used simply the agreement is a model for others, but the agreement is a model for others. You can't make out. Then the information should be specific. To make it specific, the agreement to resolve 6 disputed points where along the Assam Meghalaya border is a model for others. This is how the writers expand the ideas. Tuesday's agreement between Assam and Meghalaya to end their boundary dispute in 6 of the 12 areas where discord persisted is a welcome first step. When it comes to the northeastern region, there are so many states, and recently, I think last year, there was a big problem between Assam and Meghalaya. So this talks about a particular agreement reached recently, and the editorial says it is a first step in resolving. There are 12 areas of dispute. Of the 12 areas, they have come to an understanding in 6 of the 12 areas, and it's a welcome first step. It is a first step. At the same time, it is something one has to welcome. Tuesday's agreement, Tuesday's recent past, Tuesday's agreement between, look at how the information is being added. This awareness helps in the exam. Tuesday's agreement between Assam and Meghalaya, agreement for what? To end the boundary dispute in 6 of the 12 areas where discord persisted. Again, underline means information is being added, is a welcome first step. Again, the writer could have said simply, Tuesday's agreement is a welcome first step. Then the reader cannot understand. He or she has to add more information. So, in this context, this sentence talks about something has been done, and that is a welcome first step. What is that? The agreement between two states, Assam and Meghalaya, to end the boundary dispute in 6 of the 12 areas. Total, there are 12 areas of dispute. Of those 12, they have decided, they have come to an understanding. There is an agreement to resolve the boundary dispute in 6 of them. Where discord persisted. Discord persisted. There are 2 words. Discord means what? It is a dispute, a disagreement. As I said, you have to recollect. Very good. Who is this? Suresh. When you see the word discord, you have to recollect 2 important idioms. One is bone of contention. The other one, apple of discord, means what? Cause of dispute. Discord means a dispute persisted, existed for a long time. Persist means what? To be prolonged or to exist for a long time. It's a welcome first step. The agreement signed by Assam. Now, who? There was an agreement. Who signed this agreement? In whose presence? The next sentence talks about that. The agreement signed by Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma and his Meghalaya counterpart Conrad Sangma in the presence of Home Minister Amit Shah also sets the stage to resolve differences in the remaining 6 areas. There are 2 things over here. One is this sentence talks about who signed the agreement, the chief ministers of 2 different states, in the presence of the Home Minister Amit Shah. And this particular agreement sets the stage, means what? It is an important expression. Sets the stage to resolve differences in the remaining 6 areas. Already they have come to an understanding out of the 12 areas, 6 areas, and this will provide the base to resolve the remaining 6 areas. That way, it is a positive thing. Again, there are two words over here. One is counterpart. Counterpart, he is my counterpart, or they are my counterparts. What does it mean? A person, usually we say a person or a thing, but it goes with persons, especially either employees or someone who is in position. Imagine there's a company, it has branches in the US, in Australia, in India, and there's a manager in India, and there's one manager in Australia. How do they refer to each other? The Indian manager may say, while referring to the Australian manager, he is my counterpart. Counterpart means someone at the same level, same position. They are counterparts. The Chief Minister of Assam and the Chief Minister of Meghalaya, they are counterparts. And there's another word, resolve. We have got many a time. From this, we get the word resolution. Resolve means what? To find a solution. Whenever there's a problem, there's a dispute, you try to find a solution, then we use the word resolve. And resolve is a verb, resolution, noun form. Now look at this. Whatever is underlined, always try to recollect. It is either a phrase or a clause. It could be a subject phrase, subject clause, noun clause, adverbial clause, adjective clause, or noun phrase, adverbial phrase, adjective phrase. Based on a draft resolution of January 29 between the two states, initially something happened way back on January 29 between the two states. Based on that draft resolution, this agreement has come into became a reality. Based on a draft resolution of January 29 between the two states, the agreement covers, it talks about the areas the where they have come to an understanding, or the agreement is related to those areas. Based on a draft resolution of January 29 between the two states, the agreement covers Tarabari, Gizang, Ahim, Boklapara, Khanapara, Pilankhata, and Ratachera under the Kamrup Metro, and Kachar districts of Assam, and the West Khasi Hills, Riboy, and East Jaintia Hills districts of Meghalaya. So the sentence talks about the areas covered under the agreement. By adopting a give and take approach, how could they reach an understanding? How could they get in? How could they get one something like an agreement? By adopting, they must have used a particular approach. What is that approach? This sentence talks about that. By adopting a give and take approach, this is an important expression, give and take approach, so that mutually people get benefited or the parties get benefited. By adopting a give and take approach, the two states have demonstrated that knotty boundary issues can be resolved by taking a particular stand. What is that stand, or what is that approach? Give and take approach. By adopting, by taking a particular approach. In this context, adopt means by taking a particular approach. By adopting a give and take approach, the two states have demonstrated that knotty boundary issues, knotty means very complex in this context. Knotty boundary issues can be resolved passive voice. In this case, partially to begin with, not completely, partially, because the editorial talks about out of 12 areas of dispute, 6 they have come to an understanding. Partially to begin with, if there is a will to arrive at an agreement. This sentence talks about taking a particular approach. What is that approach? Give and take approach. The two states have demonstrated something. What have they demonstrated, displayed, showed? That knotty boundary issues can be resolved. We can find solutions to boundary issues, knotty, complex boundary issues. In this case, partially to begin with, if there is a will, they have demonstrated we can find a solution if there is a will to arrive at an agreement. If you keep it open with an open-mindedness, you approach a problem, you definitely find a solution. And whenever you see the word if, think of conditionals and ask yourself which conditional is this. That helps in the long run. Knotty, complex problem. Of the disputed territory, a little over 36 square kilometers, the two states will get a near equal share, enshrining the sharing principle that might serve as a template to resolve other boundary disputes in the Northeast. This is a good development, and this development will definitely be something like a role model based on this template or the framework. Other states can definitely resolve the boundary issues. The sentence talks about that, and also very specifically of the disputed territory, a little over 36 square kilometers, the two states will get a near equal share. Enshrining, why do they get near equal share? In that there's a principle enshrined, means embedded, built in. Enshrining the sharing principle that might serve as a template to resolve other boundary disputes in the Northeast. Enshrine a particular tradition or a particular principle that is included, that is preserved, so that it is protected and respected. Template usually it goes with design. When it comes to presentations, when it comes to designing, we use the word template. But in this context, template means the base, the framework. Based on that, they can try to resolve other problems or other disputes. Assam, the mother state from which other states were carved out in the Northeast. Carve out means shaped out. Here, this talks about Assam, the mother state. Why the expression the mother state? Excuse me. Because from this state, other states have been carved out. Assam, the mother state from which other states were carved out, past tense passive voice, in the Northeast, currently has boundary disputes with Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, and Nagaland. As the Home Minister underscored, highlighted, or emphasized in Delhi, the spirit shown by Mr. Sharma and Mr. Sangma should be used in other disputes as well. This is why I have brought this editorial. This editorial is something positive, and there's something to learn from the agreement. Other states, they can, India being a quasi federal state, other states can learn something from this agreement, and they can use this agreement as a source, as a role. They can take this as a role model, and they can learn something from the spirit shown by Mr. Sharma and Mr. Sangma. This should be used in other disputes as well. People living in the six disputed areas should be allowed to choose where they want to live. They cannot be restricted. They should have the choice to decide where to live, whether they have to live in Assam or they have to live in Meghalaya. People living in the six disputed areas should be allowed to choose where they want to live. While Mr. Sharma has blamed the Congress for allowing the dispute between Assam and Meghalaya to fester, fester, an important word we have got for the first time. What does it mean? It goes with a problem. Make a problem worse by neglecting it for a long time. You neglect a problem for a long time, then it becomes worse. In that context, we use the word fester. Now it comes to blame game. While Mr. Sharma has blamed the Congress for allowing the dispute between Assam and Meghalaya to fester, means what? To become worse. Nandita Das, Congress MLA from Boko seat, alleged that in three of the six resolved sectors, there was no give and take. Already have read out the editorial. In the editorial, we have come across the expression. It has been resolved based on give and take approach, the stand taken, give and take approach. But what is the allegation? The allegation, and this allegation from Nandita Das, Congress MLA from the Boko seat, that in three of the six resolved sectors, there was no give and take. The agreement requires, now there's an agreement, but something is mandatory. The agreement requires delineation. This is an important word. Alienation is different, delineation is different. Delineation means to say something or to state something precisely or to portray something precisely, exactly, in a crystal clear manner. And demarcation means to mark the boundaries by the Survey of India, an important organization, as well as parliamentary approval. There are two things over here. The first step, that's why the editorial says the first step, agreement. But after the agreement, it has to be, there should be delineation and demarcation by the Survey of India, as well as the parliamentary approval. Whatever you see, I could not bring a lot due to lack of time, but I'll make it a regular feature. Whatever you see in green, excuse me, related to grammar, important from the exam point of view, as well as whenever we use words like with, along with, together with, as well as, besides, in addition to, there are so many, more than 10. Remember, the verb agrees with the first subject. There are two subjects, the verb agrees with the first subject. One can only hope that the right lessons will be drawn by Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, and Nagaland from Tuesday's accord to understand the other's point of view and come to agreements. From this, what is there to learn? What can we hope? One can only hope that the right lessons will be drawn. It is in future passive voice. Right lessons will be drawn by, or right lessons will be learnt by Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, and Nagaland from Tuesday's accord agreement to understand the other's point of view and come to agreements. In July 2021, now it talks about what happened last year. There was a major incident in the northeastern region. In July 2021, five policemen and a civilian from Assam were shot dead in violent clashes with their Mizo counterparts at a disputed point between Assam and Mizoram. So this talked about what happened in the northeastern region way back in July 2021. The clash came right after a meeting that Mr. Shah had with the chief ministers of northeast states to resolve boundary disputes. Very unfortunate. This unfortunate incident happened right after a meeting that Mr. Shah had. This is very important. A lot of students, when they come across had, they think something is wrong, but nothing wrong. Do remember it goes with past perfect tense. One example, and when do we use past perfect? When there are two actions that happened in the past, one after the other. For the first action, we should use past perfect. For the second action, we should use past tense. One example that goes with everyday English: I had my breakfast before I came here. I had my breakfast. Which tense is that? Past perfect. Before I came here, which tense is that? Past tense. So this is very important. Based on this, in many competitive exams, they have given questions. So this talks about a particular incident that happened in July 2021. How does the editorial end? It is imperative, important, crucial, of importance. It is imperative that Assam and the other states logged in dispute use goodwill and the good offices of the center. This is an idiomatic expression, an important one. I should have brought it in color. Good offices means influence. Good offices means what? Influence of the center. It is imperative, it is important, it is crucial that Assam and the other states logged in dispute use two things: one, goodwill, and the good offices of the center. Rather than entrusting, instead of, rather than entrusting security to paramilitary forces. That's what happened in 2021. One confidence building measure could be possibility. Instead of, or rather than entrusting security to paramilitary forces, one confidence building measure could be to deploy, place in position, state police without arms. That is an important point. Don't deploy paramilitary forces, deploy state police without arms wherever possible. That could be a confidence building measure. It would be a signal that all states are committed to resolving their disputes peacefully. Again, a lot of students think after the preposition to, if at all they see a verb, they have a fixed idea that it should be in the basic form. But not always. There are certain verbs, and here the preposition to goes with the verb committed. And after that, committed to what? You ask a question. Then you can use a word in ing form. Here it is a verb used as a noun. When we use a verb in ing form as a noun, it is called gerund. So nothing wrong. Now, if at all they do that, do what? Instead of deploying paramilitary forces, they deploy state police without arms. That is very important, wherever possible. It would be a signal that all states are committed to resolving their disputes peacefully. No arms, definitely. For the moment, at present, in the present scenario, Tuesday's agreement is a moment to savor. Means what? Something to enjoy. Usually, savor goes with food and drink to enjoy a lot. But in this context, it relates to the agreement. The moment is something to enjoy and savor, an important word. That's all about the editorial, an important editorial. Always remember India is quasi federal, means what? Partially unitary, partially federal. Neither unitary nor federal. And definitely we come across, quite often we come across interstate disputes between the center and the states. Very important. And this editorial is related to polity. You may get as a passage in prelims or mains. Now, let us look at possible questions based on comprehension, related to comprehension based on this editorial. First one, what is this editorial about? What is a welcome first step in the context of the editorial? Easy to answer. What have the two states demonstrated? The two states, Assam and Meghalaya, have demonstrated something. So, what have they demonstrated? What should be used in other disputes as well? Something should be used in other disputes as well. What is that? Again, navigate, locate, and easy to write the answer. What is imperative in the context of the editorial? There's one key word. What is it? Imperative. What is crucial? What is vital? What is of importance in the context of the editorial? Again, easy to answer. That's all about this editorial. Now let us go to not a lengthy editorial, not too many words, so I could finish in 27 minutes. We can answer we can work on the practice questions based on exam topics leisurely. We don't have to hurry up. Let us go to practice questions. The first five questions based on error location. Please read the first sentence and try to spot the error. What is this MSK for the library? You should think that of all the possibilities before you take any decision. Very good, Balu Nayak, first one to respond. Here we don't have to use the word that. Just drop that word, omit that word. Yes. You should think of something. In this context, you should think of what? All the possibilities before you take any decision. Excuse me. Otherwise, there is no error. Here, only error, the word that is not required. You should delete that one. There's an error in the first part. He was too tired that he could not cross the street, even with the help of a porter. He was too tired that he could not cross the street, even with the help of a porter. Where is the error? An easy one, but under pressure, a bit difficult to answer. Very good. Sai Arvind, Naidu Paidi. Here, too tired. No. He was so tired that I think you know the difference between so that and such that. We use so that with adjectives and adverbs. We use such that with nouns. He was so tired that, tired person, tired is what? Adjective. Here we cannot use the word to, we have to use so. He was so tired that he could not cross the street, even with the help of a porter. He was too tired to carry the luggage. That's a different pattern. Your desire to meet the president without prior appointment cannot be fulfilled. Thank you very much. I wish you the same. tomorrow. Your desire to meet the president without prior appointment cannot be. Then you have to tell yourself, you should know for sure. Here it is in passive voice. Any sentence in passive voice, irrespective of the tense, any sentence in passive voice, the verb, main verb is always in past participle form. Based on that, fulfill is not correct. It should be fulfilled. Then it is correct. Fulfilled. Your desire to meet the president without prior appointment cannot be fulfilled. It can be fulfilled, it cannot be fulfilled. It is in passive voice. And do remember past participle form. And here there's one word prior. Then you have to recollect the rule that goes with comparative adjectives. What is that? If you take comparative adjectives like anterior, posterior, senior, junior, superior, inferior, preferable, prior, elder, and the verb prefer, they all take the preposition to. Common error, people use than, which is not correct. Prior than is not correct. Prior to is correct. Rivers, mountains, and deep forests are the places mostly liked by people living in urban areas. Comparative adjective, yes. Senior to, junior to, and also the verb prefer. Besides those comparative adjectives, the verb prefer. Rivers, mountains, and deep forests are the places mostly like is not correct, mostly liked by people living in urban areas. Very good. It is a question related to word forms. What is it about? Word forms. Right word, wrong form. Here, like is not correct. It should be liked by. His obviously reluctance was viewed seriously by his superiors and he was suspended. His obviously reluctance. You don't have to go beyond the first part. Here, reluctance is noun. Before any noun, we use an adjective, not an adverb. Based on that, here we cannot say obviously, it has to be obvious. Obvious is what? Adjective. Here we have to use an adjective. His obvious reluctance was viewed seriously. Here it is an adverb by his superiors and he was suspended. Perfect. Question is again based on what? Word forms. In competitive exams, quite often they ask questions based on word forms. A right word, a wrong form. That's why while learning, I always tell students, you have to learn the word forms, a new word. Know the verb form, the adjective form, the adverb form, the noun form. Then you're ready for the exam. If you're not aware of the forms, the different forms of a particular word, then it becomes a problem in the exam. All the five correct, very good, quite easy. Four, that's also good. Now let us go to pillars, five questions. It is for everyone to abide by, adherence, sticking to, following, abide by, abide, an important word. It takes a preposition by. Law abiding citizen, you have to recollect the related expressions. It is expected, not correct. It is meant, not correct. Optional, no, no way. Recommended, no. It is obligatory for everyone to abide by the laws of the land. Obligation. In a way, here it means compulsory, mandatory. Those are the words you have to recollect. Abide by the laws of the land. Very good, an easy one. He is a hard worker. His quality of work is not, I small letter, of a desirable level, expected level. He is a hard worker. Obligation means something you have to do because it is your duty or you have promised to do it. Despite he is a hard worker, no. Because he is a hard worker. Although contrasting information, he is a hard worker. But what is the contrasting information over here? His quality of work is not of a desirable level. So we cannot use somehow, not at all relevant. However, no, we cannot start with that. Although he is a hard worker, his quality of work is not of a desirable level. You can also say, although he is a hard worker, although he is diligent, his quality of work is not to the expected level. Question number 3. Families with college students might be eligible for certain tax or credits on their 2021 taxes. Yes, despite goes with a noun phrase. In spite of, despite his village background, despite his diligent nature, in spite of his diligent nature. That is a phrase. Although always combines two clauses. No, no, it does not take a comma. Families with college students might be eligible for certain tax deductions. We don't say tax incentives. Debts not relevant, expenses not relevant, imposed grammatically, otherwise also not acceptable. An easy one, tax deductions. Question number 4, double filler. His quality of work leaves much to be desired. Very good expression, Madhav. Tax deductions, a word combination, collocation. She double fillers, only one question. Sang well, played the sitar very well. She also sang well, played does not make any sense whatsoever. No sooner than, again not correct. She not only sang well, but also played the sitar very well. Parallel expression. Answer easy to make out, not only but also. We were so late, we had time to catch the train. Easy one. We were so late, we had time to catch the train. Nearly, no. Almost, hardly had the time or hardly had time to catch the train. We were so late because of that, we hardly had time to catch the train. Almost nothing. This is not easy. I will give you some time. Read very carefully. Don't be hasty. Parajumbles, please don't be hasty. Read all the parts. Try to ask yourself, what is this about? First thing. Then you get the broad framework. Then take elimination approach, get the first sentence. Then look for pairs of sentences. And for a change, everyday difficult ones. See, we have all sorts of students. This is a heterogeneous group. We have beginners, we have intermediate students, we have advanced students. Imagine today, because every day we don't expect the same students to be there. Maybe 60%, 40% new students. New people join the platform. And first day they see very tough questions, they may get intimidated. To balance that, if you take Monday to Saturday or Monday to Friday, sometimes easy questions, sometimes difficult questions, sometimes moderate questions. That's how I balance. What is this in the actual exam? You mean to say test interface is not good? Prasad, please answer my question. Are you talking about in the actual exam? And chances, let us start with elimination approach. What is this about? This is about admission into prestigious schools, colleges, Ivy League. I've brought it from an international magazine. And changes cannot be the first one. Harvard University, for example. A statement, then you say for example, so cannot be the first one. Now, again it cannot be the first one. Applications to prestigious schools have ticked upward for years. Hold this one. Ratcheting up panic among, creating panic among, you cannot consider this one. Acceptance rates at some of these institutions, demonstrative, adjective cannot be the first one. So what is the first one here? Obviously, D is the first one. Applications to prestigious schools have ticked upward for years, and changes to admission policies during the pandemic put that growth into turbo drive. Here, ticked upward means what? Growth. There's a clue for you. Ticked upward means what? There's a growth. And based on that, here, and changes to admission policies during the pandemic put that growth into turbo drive. Obviously, DA1 pair. Next, what? What is the third sentence? C is not the third one. No, I said don't be hasty. It is not that easy. No, no, no. It starts with prestigious schools. No one has got it right so far. No, 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 no. Not in. Now I see Ramesh Naidu has got it right. Here it starts with applications to prestigious schools have ticked upward for years, and changes to admission policies during the pandemic put that growth into turbo drive. Upward growth. Then it talks about what? Prestigious schools. And based on that, these institutions, acceptance rates at some of these institutions slid to low single digits last year. Based on that, the third one is F. There's a statement. It has to be substantiated. How do the writers substantiate? By using the expression, for instance, for example. So you see, for example, based on that, what is the fourth one? FB1 pair. Harvard University, for example, admitted 3.4% of the 57,435 people who applied to join the class that started in 2021. DAFB. Based on all this, now some admission officers say, drawing so much attention to how few candidates made the cut. Out of 57,435 people, 3.4% negligible, and continuation of thought. Now some admissions officers say, drawing so much attention to how few candidates made the cut is doing more harm than good. How ratcheting up panic, creating panic among high school students and their parents, and continuing a myth that it is nearly impossible to get into a good college. What is the last one? Now, what is the correct order? D, A, F, B, C, E. Please read carefully. Now, let us go to idioms. First, you read expressions that means in clear, simple language. Expression that means in simple, clear, simple language. No, this is not an easy one if you read casually. But on the other hand, you read meticulously. It is easy. There are clues everywhere. And always remember, when it comes to a para jumble, at the outset, you have to read all the 6 parts or 7 parts, and you have to get the broad framework. The broad framework, every paragraph has a broad framework, and you have to grasp that. Then it becomes easy. What is the answer? Expression that means in clear, simple language, plain English. It is E. Cannot find words to express one's thoughts. Cannot find words in a situation to express one's thoughts means what? Words fail. C is the answer. To speak vaguely or indirectly, mince words. Answer is B. To speak vaguely or indirectly, then we say don't mince words. Something that is not understandable, then you say it's all Greek to me. So it is A. Admit that one was not right about something. Eat one's words. Answer is D. No, no, no. Plain English cannot find words. Words fail. Vaguely or indirectly mince words. Something that is not understandable. All Greek. Admit that one was not right about something. Eat one's words. Look at the examples. What the manager says is all Greek to me, means I cannot understand what the manager says. Don't mince words when it comes to expressing your views. That means what? Don't speak vaguely, speak in a crystal clear manner. Whenever he goes onto the stage, words fail him, means he cannot find words to express his views or ideas. He had to eat his words. When he came to know that he was wrong, that means admit that he was wrong. You can also think of the idiom eat a humble pie. He always prefers using plain English, simple English, easy to understand. Now let us go to the last slide, editorial vocabulary. Discord, part of speech, noun, apple of discord, bone of contention, dispute, cause of dispute. So disagreement, answer is I. Some examples are very funny. Persist, persisted, it's a regular verb. Means what? Continue to exist, be prolonged. Resolve is a regular verb. Resolution is a noun form. Find a solution. Naughty problem means what? Adjective. Extremely complex. Underscore, underscored. It's a regular verb. One of the meanings underline. In this context, emphasize, highlight, to emphasize. Fester, become worse. It is a verb. And what does it mean? Of vital, enjoy to the full. Become worse through negligence, that is important. Delineation, obviously noun, means what? Preserve a tradition so that it is protected and respected. E is the answer. Imperative, of vital importance. It could also be a noun. C is the answer. Excuse me. Savor, it's a verb. It goes with food and drink. Means what? Enjoy to the full, something to the full. D is the answer. Enshrine, enshrined, it's a verb. Here. Oh, delineation, my mistake. Describing precisely, delineation, H. And enshrine, preserve a tradition. Answer is E. That's right. That's all for today. Thanks for being with me till 8:49. A short editorial, so we could finish off in not even 50 minutes. Have a nice day. I will see you guys in the evening. 200 grammar rules, and do remember to subscribe and share. Join the Telegram group. I'll provide the PDF. Try to work on important questions. Thank you.